ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Cal-Am has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Thank you everybody for coming today. My name's Adam Scam with Public Water Now. Please welcome the President of Public Water Now, Melody Krislak.
Thank you very much. I'm so amazed at everybody turning out for this. This is a lot more people than I thought would show up. It would have been amazing that this could never have happened 5 years ago. 5 years ago, most of our elected officials were supporting Cal-Am and their Desal dream that was on the horizon at that point. And a lot of those people that were elected at that time helped to defeat Majorot, which is why we're here now, still struggling to get Cal-Am out of the picture. So we're going to have all the elected speak for a minute or two, and they'll just get closer to the mics as they speak, since we don't have a PA system.
28.
So thank you so much. And excuse me, what?
28.
There are 28 electeds that have signed this letter to the Coastal Commission. Which is the point of this rally, is to honor that. So that's the point of the rally, is to honor the fact that our elected leaders have stood up and said no to Cal-Am. All right, we'll start with Jane Parker, Supervisor for District 4.
Thank you. My name's Jane Parker. I'm the County Supervisor for District 4, and I want to thank Public Water Now and Citizens for Just Water, who have been doing amazing education and action on issues and problems and solutions related to water. So I'm really proud to be here today as one of the signatories, together with my fellow elected officials, to this letter to the Coastal Commission asking them to deny Cal-Am's application for a coastal development permit. My district encompasses part of the city of Salinas, nearly all of Fort Ord, and the city of Marina. These are areas where water is being proposed to be taken to then go to the southern part of the Monterey Peninsula, where some more of my residents live, Seaside and Delray Oaks. So for me, a water solution, because we know that all of our water supplies are in overdraft, a solution really needs to be something that makes things better for everyone.
Yay!
Not better for some at the expense of others, and not making things worse. So it needs to be legal, it needs to be agreed upon between and among communities, it needs to be environmentally sustainable, and it needs to be affordable. I think we can agree that the Cal-Am project is none of these. Right. However, some people for quite a while have thought they had to support the Cal-Am project, even with all of these negatives, because of the pressure of the state cease and desist order. But now we know that we have Pure Water Monterey. It is agreed upon among communities. It is environmentally sustainable. It is legal. And it is more affordable. It is here, it is ready, and it can meet the demands of the peninsula's water supply now and well into the future. So I'm here with my colleagues and all of you to say to the Coastal Commission, no need for the divisive, damaging, expensive, unjust Cal-Am project. please deny their application for a coastal development permit.
Mark Stone could not be here today with us, but this sign was his quote from a couple of weeks ago, which was quite a mind blower at an event that was a ribbon cutting for Pure Water Monterey, and everyone was being very politically correct and nice, and Cal-Am was in the room, and suddenly Mark Stone was asked to describe the Pure Water Monterey project in one word, and he said, well, I would need three. Who needs desal? So Erica Parker is here for Mark Stone today.
Hello, thank you. On behalf of Assemblymember Stone, I'd like to thank all of you for coming here and being so active on this important issue. The decision before the Coastal Commission is hugely impactful to this region and our water security. It is the Assemblymember's hope that the Commission will consider very carefully all of the science and alternatives to desal, giving them appropriate weight. Local creativity and innovation should be celebrated and recognized by the Commission by affirming the importance of recycled water and the Pure Water Monterey project. Your activism and involvement is commendable. Thank you again for being so engaged in this issue.
All right, Mayor Roberson needs no introduction, but here he is.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on which side you're on.
I'm always on the right side, Melody.
Depends on which side others are on.
I'm going to recruit her for my next campaign. She got 28 elected officials to sign on to this letter. The right thing to do. That's historic, don't you think? What Jane Parker said. Yeah, I'm done. She was just so eloquent. But you know, certain things that jumped out at me while she was speaking. One is, we don't need a project that divides the community. And as mayors, as representatives, assembly, council members, and supervisors, we really work together. We're on a lot of boards together, and it's community. And this is why I'm so excited about public water and Pure Water Monterey. We all agree we need a reliable water source. We want to allow for responsible growth. We want people who have lots to be able to build their homes. And for a while we thought the desal plant was the only alternative. Then along comes a public agency that says, we have another alternative. Not only that, we have a track record. We're producing 3,500 acre feet, which will be delivered to us very shortly, and we have an opportunity to add 2,200 acre feet to meet your needs. A public agency answerable to us. Yes. Environmentally sound, yes, public agency. Environmentally sound, economic, and something very important to me. We are all very aware of climate warming. And unfortunately, there's an awareness, but we have to do more than lip service. This Central Coast, which is such a beautiful, pristine place to live, let us be the leaders in climate warming, and let us say, we're not going to build that because it's too harmful. And not only that, we're not just going to be negative, we're going to have an alternative. So thank you, Monterey One Water. Thank all of you. Let's hope they hear us.
Mayor Delgado.
All right, good afternoon, good morning. So you've inspired me to be a little fired up today. Thank you for being here. And I'm fired up because if you show me the primary supporters of the Cal-Am's unnecessary $1.2 billion desal project, I'll show you paid, moneyed interest looking to profit on every expensive drop of water with which you drink, shower, cook, or landscape, no matter the damage that causes. Remember the decapitated head of George Riley shown on the end of a stick in a slick advertisement emailed by CalAmp to every CalAmp customer using some of the $2 to $3 million CalAmp spent to intimidate George and all the ratepayers into voting no on Measure J in 2018.
Which didn't work.
This is what we're up against, but CalAmp lost Measure J, didn't it? Because we, the public, stuck together in a grassroots fashion, and here we are again, growing roots to blossom on November 14th at the California Coastal Commission. Alternatively, if you show me the supporters of the $200 million, 1/6 the cost of the Desal, the $200 million recycled water expansion of Pure Water Monterey, and I'll show all of you who are volunteers inspiration to protect our environment, our groundwater, our hard-earned dollars, and local control of our own water, rather than becoming a banana republic in the water department where a corporation controls and profits from our water source and our usage of it. So let's look at our options. We give in to CalAmp's $1.2 billion corporate shareholder project and lose our control over our water cost and our future water options, or we finance the expansion of the publicly owned, environmentally friendlier Pure Water Monterey at 1/6 the cost. Well, which of those is closer to your vision and respect for the beauty of Monterey that surrounds us? Both are drought resistant. Both meet our water demands, but only one protects our beaches and access to them. Only one protects our groundwater. Only one protects our community's ability to live here affordably, and only one protects our self-respect. I'm not here to bash CalAmp. It and its staff have a job to do for their shareholders. I'm here to ask, what are we going to do about this and not become a banana-like republic with CalAmp? We focus on all the actions we can take to help the Coastal Commission make sense out of this no-brainer on November 14th. So please listen to your very able organizers, such as Melody, Kathy all over in Monterey, others in Seaside. Thank you. Where is Monica Kim? Monica, can you raise your hand? So, Monica is on fire as much as anybody. Thank you for all you're doing, Monica. But please, let's listen to our organizers and dig deep in the next 3 weeks to take all the actions we can necessary to stand up for our generation and the future generations here in Monterey Bay.
Oglesby, mayor of the city of Seaside. So proud to be out here. Think about it. Following Bruce, I don't know if I could be as motivated as Bruce, but I want to build on what was said before me, because what was said before me was so fantastic, and I know Mayor Robeson had to step out. But I want to build on the concept of being the mayor of the city that has 3 distinct water purveyors: Seaside Muni, Marina Coast Water District, and CalAmp. Right. CalAmp being the largest. So when Mayor Robeson said that he's always on the right side, I think I'm always on the right side, because we have 3 different sides of water. But one of those water purveyors costs the most in the nation. And for my residents, that's unacceptable. We have to be able to control our water costs. That's why I'm a big supporter of public ownership of water delivery systems. So as we move forward, I look to go to the Water Management District and make sure they have a good understanding of feasibility. Feasibility is not just because it costs more, it makes it unfeasible. Feasibility is if the public wants to own their water system, that makes it feasible. So those are my I just want to support Melanie and all the things she's done to talk about public ownership of water now. I support that wholeheartedly. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Hello, Nelson.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. Thank goodness we have a beautiful fall Monterey day. And we need rain, yes, of course. I have been fortunate to have lived on the peninsula for nearly 40 years, 30 of which have been in Delray Oaks, where we had the highest percentage of support per capita for Measure J. Small but mighty. When I speak with neighbors, water always comes up. Sometimes the airport, sometimes cannabis, but I digress. The concerns I hear over and over again are about the environmental and economic impacts the Desal plant would bring to it, and frankly the confusion around all the barrage of misinformation. I dug into EIRs, I dug into scientific reports, I had meetings with all kinds of water employees and experts and attended multiple water board meetings to hear all sides, so I could speak with some understanding to my constituents. I came away with three big things. The environmental damage this particular desal plant would create involves not only the irreparable damage to 7 acres of sensitive coastal dune habitat on which it is being proposed, but the projected significant increase of saltwater intrusion that will damage the very groundwater that we all depend on. As Clyde mentioned, there's also great concern about the CO2 emissions that this would bring. Climate change, yeah. Second, the economics. As we wait for the results of the public water ownership feasibility studies, the neighbors I speak with cannot absorb doubling of their water bills as well as the profit margin. The $190 million Pure Monterey Water Expansion numbers make much more sense when compared to the $1.2 billion needed for this desal plant. Lastly, Monterey Peninsula Water Management District Supply and Demand Report was recently released. It compares the two projects side by side, showing the historical and current usage and demand, which is approximately 4,000 acre-feet less than the desal EIR. The report also shows resource allocation numbers that would meet our needs. Both the desal plant and the Pure Water Monterey Expansion would meet the CDO milestones and protect the Carmel River. But the bottom line to our environment, social justice, and ratepayer pocketbooks are significantly different. So taking all of this and my conversations with constituencies into consideration, I signed the letter, happily asking the Coastal Commission to not grant the permit for the desal plant. We have a more feasible, less damaging, innovative solution to address our needs with the expansion of Pure Water Monterey. Thank you.
George Riley.
I only have two things I want to say. One is local activism is democracy in action. And you are the example and the model for making things happen in the world of big decisions. Stay active, okay? It's not over by any means, it's not over. Second, I want to say is that most of us have some vision of the future that goes beyond our immediate world. And it's generational, it's kids, it's the future, and keep that in mind too. The other side looks at now, power now, smash the opposition now, decapitate a leader now.
Wow.
But their issue is now. And I think that's an argument that we have that we need to continue to put forward, that we are looking down the road for a legacy issue, because most of us, I'm just looking at the gray hairs, most of us may not be here if the feasibility works and it's done and we burn the mortgage, so to speak. But most of us won't be here. So we are looking long range, legacy, and that's to our benefit, I think. And a lot of people can see that if we make the case. So I say stay active and make the case. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Gail Morton. I'm the Vice Mayor for the City of Marina. For so long, this has been an adversarial issue. Finding water, having water that's affordable, sustainable, and not detrimental to our environment. Marina with Marina Coast Water District has been at the forefront of this argument for the last 4 years. Our city has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get this message out as to the adverse consequences of CalAM's project. Unfortunately, our efforts have been always characterized as Marina versus the peninsula. So today, I want to thank Pure Water Monterey for the new solution that's available to all of us, and I want to thank the efforts of Public Water Now, and most importantly, Citizens for Just Water in the city of Marina that has gotten the message that our legal team has been trying to make in the judicial system, in the public administrative system, for all of us to understand, advocate for, and to get 28 members of those elected by you to sign this letter. It's a critical change. It's a pivotal change. And as a representative of the city of Marina, I'm so grateful that all of you are here, that you've heard what our concerns are. We all want water that's affordable. We all want water that's sustainable. And we all want to protect our environment. Those collective goals is what this project will allow to happen. So please keep up your advocacy. I'm hoping that all of you will be at the hearing at the California Coastal Commission on November 14th. Is in Half Moon Bay. But we are trying to make sure your voices, the voices of the local community, are heard and valued. So please, please, if you need help getting there, reach out. There are people that will help you get there, because just like today, your voice is necessary. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, y'all.
The premise that we've been told is that we have to have the desal in order to cure us of this shortage of water, but that's not true, because we already have the roadmap for success. The California Public Utilities Commission ordered CalAM with a water purchase agreement to purchase the Pure Water Monterey recycled water. So the answer is, do it again. When we expand Pure Water Monterey, make CalAM buy that water. And then there's no need for water we can't afford produced by Desal, because we already have a test case that will become live and enter our water and go through your tap and my tap and our community's tap before you even know it's happening, because it's such high quality water that it is the future. I want to tell you a brief story. When I was knocking on doors, I met somebody who said, we used to live up in the Seaside Municipal Water System. We used to get our water real cheap. But, you know, my parents sold their house, you know, they're getting older, they moved. And so we moved out. My sister, she's adult, she's disabled. I take care of her. They moved down the hill into CalAM's service area. He said his water bill, because he showers his sister every single day, she's an adult, she's got a developmental disability, so it's not a fast shower. He said their water bill tripled.
Oh my God.
Tripled. And his income is California home health care provider, because he takes care of his sister. He can't go out and work. He can't afford to get full-time help for her. We are creating an environment where people are literally going broke trying to pay for water today, and now we want to double the cost? That's not going to work. That cannot happen. I want to say just one other thing. I read an article last night. It was a wonderfully written article. The Haudenosaunee people, you might know them by their former derogatory name, the Iroquois. They have a charter, a constitution that dictates that their leaders look 7 generations into the future about any decision they make. We need to plan today for our grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren, not what we can do today to maximize our land value. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or good morning, I guess. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm Lisa Berkeley. I'm council member of the city of Marina. And I just want to give you a little bit of background. So a part of CalAM's proposed project would be through the CMEX sand mining property. And according to the CMEX site closure agreement, which was finalized in July of 2017 and adopted by the California Coastal Commission, the California State Lands Commission, and the City of Marina. This would see a wind down of the CMEX sand mining and the sale of approximately a 400-acre property, which was to be sold to either a not-for-profit conservation group or a government entity. There was a deed restriction that was also placed on the property that was defined to protect it in perpetuity, which means forever. And it was to provide access and conservation at that site. CalAmp's proposed project is not in alignment with this, and the City of Marina determined in the denial of this project that the slant wells are not a coastal dependent industrial use and do not need to be located at that site. The city determined that the general plan calls for the use of the site for positive recreation and habitat, for passive recreation and habitat conservation and not industrial uses. So clearly we're at a time, a crucial time in Monterey County's history. As a community, we can choose to exemplify the intersection of economic prosperity, care, human rights, environmental justice, cutting-edge technology, and water supply. At this juncture, there's only one right way forward, and that's to say no to the CalAmp Desal project and yes to the Pure Monterey Water Expansion. There's one other thing too. Having worked with Citizens for Just Water for more than 3 years now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with what we're doing. And so one of the things that we'll be doing on Saturday, October 26th, is a beach walk. Because most of us have been talking about this horrific project, but we don't actually understand the real size of it. So it's about a 2.5-mile walk leaving from Marina Beach. If you go to Just Water's website, you can find out more information about it. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jason Campbell, a Seaside City Council member, and there's been a real divisive air in the community, I think, because of water. And when my colleague Dale mentioned that Marina is being labeled as Marina against the Peninsula, I want to say that's wrong, and I'm going to get to why that is, why I believe that's wrong. But in Seaside, we sit on top of an aquifer, a groundwater aquifer that provides some of the cheapest water you can get. That water is pumped out from under us, distributed through the peninsula, and we end up somehow buying more expensive water back. It's going to get worse if CalAmp has their way. And honestly, for our residents, the mayor mentioned it already, we need to defend our residents economically as well as the peninsula. We not only pump water out of our basin, but we provide the well sites for the solutions for the recycled water and aquifer storage and recovery. Seaside is acting very regionally, and we're proud to do that. We really like to help that. But when somebody promotes a project that supposedly is going to provide more water for us, but when actually, from Seaside's perspective, as our mayor pointed out, we have 3 water providers, cannibalizes Marina Coast, yes. Why would we support that? That is not a diversification of water, that is actually taking someone else's water for our benefit. Seaside, it makes no sense. We depend on Marina Coast for our future developments in Fort Ord, and darn it, makes no sense.
Alvin Edwards.
Thank you. I'm here tonight today to stand by the City of Seaside Council support for Pure Water Monterey. One thing about Pure Water Monterey, it's a public project. Yes. It takes the profit out of water. Yes. All the money that we're paying Pure Water Monterey goes back into the system to pay for the operation and maintenance. All the money we pay for CalAmp Desal, 123 million of that goes to New Jersey. Profit. So one good thing about Pure Water Monterey is public. It's publicly owned, and I support that 100%. So I would like to see everybody November the 12th at the Embassy Suites in Seaside for the feasibility study on buying CalAmp.
Well, we're getting short on time here. Does anybody else have one last thing they want to say?
Power to the people! We are the people!
Jan and Peter.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. My name is Jan Schreiner. I am on the board of the Marina Coast Water District. I am currently the vice president, serving my 9th year in this process. And it's been quite a learning experience for everyone. We've been through a lot through that decade or so. One of the things that I haven't heard today so far, and I've heard some fabulous things, but one of the things that I've been hearing from CalAmp is that their project is going to protect the Carmel River. I have no issue with the Carmel River. I want to protect it too. So can I hear for the Carmel River? I just believe that the Pure Water Monterey Expansion will also protect the river. And like many of us and all that you've heard from before today, that it's less expensive to use the Pure Water Monterey project expansion. It is better for the environment because of the reduction of the carbon emissions. And it's better for the environment because of the protection of the dunes. So thank you all for sharing those values.
Good morning. My name is Peter Lê. I'm with the Marina Coast Water District, and I would like to invite everybody to come to the meeting tonight. So we will consider CalAmp request to use our own pipe to carry the Desal water. So the meeting will be at 7 p.m. at Marina City Hall, 211 Hillcrest Avenue, and it will be very important whether we will grant permission for their use or not. So I hope everybody will show up. Thank you.
So, Adam, you're going to lead us in a chant.
Hey, hey!
That's all of our
Ho, ho! Desal has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! CalAmp has got to go!
Tighten up a little bit.
Thank you, elected!
Got it.